Hey, welcome back to the Post. So it's almost time for the kids to head back to school. That means some scams are starting to pick back up. We've got cybersecurity expert Howard Globus joining us now on the Post. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So yesterday on our show, we did a story about how parents should be protecting their kids when it comes to the devices they use in school and how artificial intelligence really plays a role for some of those students as they head back to class. But today we're looking at what parents need to be watching out for themselves. What kinds of scams do you start seeing this time of year?
Sure. So a lot of the scams that we start seeing are things that involve artificial intelligence that are going to try and trick folks into making some decisions, but making them quickly. And the things that we're seeing with AI are really no different than things that we saw a couple of years ago. It's just now more automated and a little bit quicker.
Well, and some of the ones that you guys said that you see could be, a fake email saying school fees are overdue, or an AI voice cloning, pretending to be your child, fake PTA Venmo requests. So it seems like a lot of these, they're looking for money. They're looking for a quick payout. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so they're looking for a quick payout, but they're also looking for a sense of urgency. So things like a fake scam about fees being due, there'll be a sense of urgency that the fees need to be paid right away. Click on this link. Or if there's a cloning of a voice, it'll appeal to people's concern for the welfare of their children and ask for money to be sent immediately. So again, it's a lot of the speed to go ahead and transfer money or to pay money without thinking too much about what's going on there.
And Howard, scams are so difficult to kind of figure out and tell if it's real or fake already. But with AI becoming so accessible and really utilized for so many different things, can you tell us how AI is playing a part in this and how getting behind the brain of a scammer here, how these scammers are targeting parents with AI?
Yeah, so it used to be that when these types of scams would come out, you'd be able to see that they were scams because the grammar wouldn't be proper, or the spelling would be off, or the tonality would be a little bit weird. What we're seeing with AI now is the same way that we're using it to help us write emails or to schedule appointments or keep our calendar in check. Scammers are using AI for the same purposes, except they're making a better scam. So what we used to do was look for things like bad grammar or poor formatting. What we now need to be looking for are verification. Can you verify where the request came from, whether it be a text, an SMS, or an email, or even a phone call, sometimes even a video call? Are these coming from places that you're expecting and that you can verify?
Why are parents such a target?
Parents are a target because we care about our kids. And the fact is, when we think our kids are in danger or might be missing out on something, we want to pick up on that as quickly as possible and make it right. So, for example, when fees are due, we want to make sure that they're not going to miss an opportunity to participate in an activity. Or if, God forbid, somebody uses an AI clone to clone your child's voice, which, by the way, they only need about 10 seconds of video to do that, then we are concerned about our children's welfare and will do anything to act quickly to make sure that they're safe. And it's that social engineering that folks are playing on to make sure that they're getting a reaction as quickly as possible.
What is the goal of these scammers? I know we talked about the money and the urgency, but are they also looking for sensitive information? Because this is something that if you fall for a scam like this, maybe you could be literally paying for it for years to come.
Yeah, so certainly money is a key critical factor, but there are other pieces of information that can be really valuable. So a child or a young adult that has a pristine credit record and has a social security number that had to be registered for other purposes, that's a great piece of information to have to be able to utilize on the dark web. Likewise, being able to leverage other scams off of that type of information. They're looking for information as much as they're looking for money. There are certain records that are more valuable. Things like healthcare information and social security numbers are almost as valuable as actually the cash that you can parlay that for.
And Howard, I know you talked a little bit about verification and that being the new way to tell if something is real or fake. Can you talk to us about what parents should do if they receive maybe a text, a call, or an email, and they're not exactly sure what to do with it or if it is real?
Yeah, absolutely. So when a call comes in or a text comes in, the first thing to do is verify it. Same way that we wouldn't give our credit card information if somebody calls up and asks us to verify that over the phone. If a request comes in, hang up, call the school directly. Make sure that it is actually a request that is valid. Not calling back the number that they called on, but instead calling the actual school's number. Or if it's something that came from the PTA, as an example, making sure to call that organization directly. Very rarely will we want to have somebody call back directly on the phone number that they got the call from, because that's an easy way to capture information. So verifying it that way. If I can, there's also another way when there's a concern or a question about whether or not you're actually speaking to your child or to an AI voice clone. We recommend having a family password or a family code, so that way there can be some verification that you're actually speaking to the person that you think you're speaking to. And if your child doesn't have the right information when you're asking on that call, it's probably not them. Obviously, we want to make it something easy enough that our children can remember, but that's a really good way to have a family password that everyone in the family knows. So there's a verification process.
All right, good advice. Howard Globus, thank you so much for joining us here on The Post. Kind of scary talking about some of this, but important information.
Good advice, definitely.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.